Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be, as the title suggests, trying out a new foundation. I have been like itching to get my hands on this since the release was announced. But the thing with foundations is I assume you guys are like me. I don't like buying them online because then I can't get a proper color match, and you know, it's so hit or miss, and every brand is a little bit different. So like I could be, a light shade in one brand and a medium shade in another. One brand could say I'm cool tone, the other could say warm tone. So for me personally, I like to go into a store with no makeup on, put a little bit on like my cheek until I get the color that I'm really going for. So that is what I did. So the foundation I am talking about is the new Urban Decay Stay Naked Weightless Liquid Foundation up to 24-hour wear. This is it right here. I've already gotten like little fingerprints all over this. Now you guys will know I am obsessed with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation, which I do have. Hold on. This is it right here. So, it's almost like this one is a weightless, and this one I think is, it's so funny because this one says weightless and this one also says weightless, but I would say that this one's a little bit thicker than this one. This one is a little bit more close to a water weight, not quite a water weight, but closer that way. So the one thing is when this foundation first came out, I thought, great, I can probably buy it online because the shade I am in this, I am also that shade in the all-nighter waterproof foundation. Like they came out on the same shade line, so I'm 3.25 in both of these products. But Urban Decay went crazy and they created kind of like a whole new way of finding your foundation color, which I was really intrigued by. So rather than just going with the shade, they kind of went more along the lines of like what MAC does with their foundation. So they came out with 50 different shades in this line. I am the shade 41NN. So first there is like the number, and that's kind of like how light to dark you are. And then the first letter, it stands for, in my case, neutral, but it could also be C for cool or W for warm. So if you've got like a cool undertone, you would pick the C. If you've got a warm undertone, you'd pick the W. I have a pretty neutral in between undertone, so I of course went with the N. And the second N in my case is also for neutral. Because I really don't pull one way or the other. So like there's also, what were the colors I saw? Y for if you pull like golden undertones, so kind of for yellow. P I assume is for pink, because it did on the website say like rosier undertones. And then there's also a G, which is for an olive undertone. Now I am kind of somewhere in between a pink undertone and a yellow undertone, maybe a little bit more pink. But I just went for neutral because that's kind of always been my go-to. If I'm ever in doubt, I just pick a neutral. So I picked 41NN. I also picked up the concealer that came in this line. Now these only come in 25 shades, but they have a similar system. So I am 40NN. Again, if you were, lighter, darker, your number would go up or down. And then depending on your undertone and what color. It's so weird. I'm so confused, but I guess like undertone is like the yellow or the pink or the olive or the neutral, and then like skin tone is like the cool or the warm or the neutral. So like I said, I am neutral for both. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm doing a first impression on my channel, but I honestly have already tried this once and I was blown away by it. It is, it's thin without being, sorry, I'm just grabbing my little foundation pan here. It is thin without being like too fluid and too water weight. I would say it is medium coverage, but like it feels completely weightless. It dries down into nothing. It just makes your skin look seamless and beautiful and like you don't have makeup, and it photographs fantastically well. So when I was like planning on doing this video, originally I was gonna kind of I was going to do it like in 3 different places, 3 different ways. I was going to use a beauty blender on one part, a brush on another part, and then just use my fingers on a third part. But I kind of have come back from that and decided that rather than that, I would just use a brush because that is how I like to apply foundation. I use my beauty blender for concealer, but I've always been more of a brush foundation person. The only time that I will ever use a beauty blender to apply foundation, sorry, I'm trying to get a box open right now, is when foundation's a little bit more fluid. So like water weight foundations or even like the naked skin sometimes. Like I find that if you do use a brush, it will streak and you can almost see like brush stroke marks. In that case, I'll take a beauty blender and I'll kind of like pat it all over my face just to buff those lines out to make it a little bit more seamless. But for this, I have only tried it the one time and I did do it with a brush and it looked gorgeous. So it is also the Sephora Rouge sale happening right now for the summer. So I am also going to be putting up a video later today. Well, not putting it up, but like filming it later today of everything that I got in that. Which like this is kind of a part of. But I wanted this to be its own standalone thing. So for this, I am also going to be trying my new Too Faced Mr. Right. Oh, this is the Mr. Perfect foundation brush. Is my other one a Mr. Right brush? Yep, so this is a Mr. Right brush. This is a Mr. Perfect brush. And I also have a bunch of these like Mr. Right eyeshadow brushes. I am obsessed with these brushes. If you guys haven't tried them, like I say this all the time, and I was even talking to the girl at Sephora about this, and she said like she kind of just has her set of brushes and sticks to them, and I was like, if you get, I don't know about this brush yet, but this brush, the Mr. Right brush, if you get this Mr. Right powder brush, you will never ever go back from it. So I thought it would be fun to try this foundation brush out while we do this video to kind of see how I like it. Anyway, let's get right into this. So you guys will know that for me, I just like to put it in a little like container. Now that is one pump, so you do get a fair amount per pump. I guess I should kind of show you how fluid it isn't. Like, do you see it runs, but it's a thicker kind of a formula. So that's nice. So I'm just going to pick some up with this brush. I kind of like that this has like an angle on it so I can get right in and under like my, this brush is nice. But I like it because I can get right into this space here. I am also slightly burnt right now. I don't know if you guys can see it. I went tanning the other day, and I normally cover my face with a towel a lot quicker than I did the other day. So I burnt a little bit, to be completely honest. So I'm trying to also see how well this covers redness, because that I didn't get to experience the other day. Like, I know where I've put it, but like I also feel like, you know, once it's all there, it's not super obvious that I even have it on, except for the fact that like I'm more even skin tone and some of my freckles and stuff like that are getting covered up. But for the most part, this stuff goes on so freaking nicely. Like so seamlessly. I'm obsessed with this foundation. Like I said, if this had been like a full first impression, I might not have an idea, but it's kind of nice that I actually couldn't wait and I already tried this once, so I can already like, as I'm applying it, tell you guys like how much I actually love it. And I feel like, I don't know, I like light coverage or very like more on the light side, but I will do a medium coverage foundation if it's not super heavy or cakey. But I feel like this would be good for somebody who even likes full coverage. I'm not 100% sure. I can just tell like it is a little bit more heavy coverage than I would normally go for. But having said that, it is still on the lighter side. So I'll get right up close. You guys can see. The thing that I like is that like you can still see like my skin through it, if that makes any sense. I don't know how I feel about that brush. I feel like it applied a little bit better the last time. So I am just going to go and pat it down with this. But again, like I'm not moving it, I'm just sort of blurring it together. But I really, really like it. Like I find that you can still see like a lot of the freckles on my nose, which is kind of nice. Like I don't always want to cover all of that. It's just very, very natural. And the concealer is fantastic as well. So as I said, I got this in 40NN and it has like a kind of like interesting curved doe foot applicator, which is really nice for getting in under your eyes. I just put like a huge blob right there. I'll just spread that out. I had a harder time finding a concealer than I did finding an actual foundation because there were more shades in the foundation line, so you could get like almost exactly, but I feel like for concealer I'm probably actually in between this one and whatever the next neutral one was up, but there wasn't one in between. It was either cool or warm, and it was like very yellow or very pink, and it was just too much for me. But this is okay. I would always, you know, I'm not a big highlight and contour person, but I would always rather go lighter in a concealer than darker, because you are supposed to try and like brighten your under eyes. I think the whole point, at least for me when I put concealer on, is that I am covering up dark circles, so putting more dark on there would probably not be beneficial for me. Alrighty. So that is how it applies. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to kind of use this as a start off point to film another video today. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a first impression of a lot of the stuff that I did get in the Sephora sale. So I'm going to sort of stop this video right now here, but it's like, I think it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon right now. I'm getting a late start. I'm going for dinner with my parents. I'm going to be up pretty late. So I'll come back at the end of the day and let you guys know how this is held up. Because even the other day when I wore it, I only wore it for a couple hours. So it does say 24-hour wear. Obviously, I'm not going to be wearing it for 24 hours, but after even 10 hours or 11 hours, depending on what time I get home, we should have a good idea. So this is where we're at right now. I'm really happy about it. It hasn't been set or anything. I'm going to be doing that, like I said, in another video. But for now, this is where we're at. So I will come back at the end of the day and we will see how it held up. Hey guys, so I told you guys I would come back and let you guys know how that foundation and the concealer wore yesterday at the end of my day, and then I fell asleep on the couch, and by the time I woke up I was just too tired to do it. So I will tell you now, it held up okay. I did notice some darkness reappear under my eyes. Now that could have been from the concealer. It could also been from fallout from the mascara and the eyeshadow that I put on in the later video, which will also be up on my channel eventually. So it could have been a mixture of both of those things. It could have also been the setting powder that I used. It's possible that that didn't hold it as well. And the other thing I noticed, and this is also because later on I put a lot of bronzer over top of my face, I did notice that that foundation settled into some of my pores pretty badly, and because of that, like, I have a couple deep pores. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see, like right here in and around my nose area, some of my pores are a little bit deeper. So in those pores, it almost looks like there were holes in my makeup in my nose, but that's not uncommon for me for a lot of foundations that I wear, especially because I don't use a pore filler, and I feel like maybe if I did use a pore filler foundation, or excuse me, primer before that, it might negate that. But other than that, the foundation held up really well. It still looked really natural late in the day, and all of my bronzers and stuff, bronzers, powders, blushes, highlighters, they all applied really, really well over top and worked really well together. So really excited about that and really excited to keep using that. So yeah, I will talk to you guys later.